scary good. Welcome to your old pal Bigfoot reviews, Project Blue Book. Now, before deciding to do this, part of me kept telling myself that this wasn't enough to make an entire video about. So I was thinking about telling how I feel, but making it a short segment of some other show. However, each time I started thinking out how I would explain what I feel, it just seemed like it should be its own thing, even if it only lasts a minute. So here goes. There's a show on the so-called History channel that's supposedly about J. Allen Hynek, the famous UFO investigator, and is supposed to be based on true government case files. They literally tell you that it's based on actual case files. Obviously, once you start watching, you see it's not based even in the vaguest way on truth or history or case files. The entire thing is like a Mad Magazine parody of how Hollywood twists and ruins everything. Do they still do those bits in Mad Magazine, like the real version versus the Hollywood version? In the old days, it used to mean that the story got cleaned up. These days, it means they add in scenes of J. Allen Hynek's wife in a gay bar. I'm not even kidding. J. Allen Hynek's wife in a gay bar. You see, in this weird reality, J. Allen Hynek, while working for the government investigating UFOs in the 1960s, was apparently married to a gorgeous model who wore glamorous period outfits with high heels higher than had actually been invented at that point. She goes into town and meets a beautiful but mysterious operative, clearly working for the aliens or the Russians or someone, and the alien lady gives her a sexy makeover. Remember, this is all based on the government case files according to the History Channel, so I'm sure if I did a Freedom of Information request, the government would supply me with case files about J. Allen Hynek's sexy wife and her sexy lesbian makeover, right? I'm sure. So while I was watching that, I suddenly could hear in my mind the original pitch for this show. It's Close Encounters meets X-Files meets Mad Men. Now, in reality, at least in our reality, I don't know about the History Channel's reality, but in our reality, Hynek was a scientist employed by the government to show up where people had seen UFOs and to tell them that they had seen swamp gas instead. His job was to be a debunker. Then he got fired in the 1970s and decided the only way to continue making a living off of UFOs was to now claim to be a believer. Sort of the way that lifelong Republican Arianna Huffington claimed that she had now changed to a Democrat, so now she can get Alec Baldwin to write for her for free. That sort of magical transformation, you know? Maybe I'm being cynical. Maybe Hynek really did have a change of heart. How would I know? But either way, it didn't happen till the 70s. At any rate, none of that is in this show. In this show, he's Mulder, and Scully, instead of being a hot redhead, is a very scary man in black character who seems more like one of the bad guys than one of the good guys. Every single thing that happens in every single episode is not what actually happened. The Flatwood Monster has been drawn a number of different ways, but never the way they present it in this show. Not a single fact is correct. I saw that the next episode will be about elongated skulls. Of course, because they're trendy right now. I don't recall Hynek ever writing about elongated skulls. I could be wrong. Prove me wrong. While I was watching, I pointed out to my friend who was also watching that Hynek walked around with several days' growth of beard all the time in this show. If he did that for real in those days, people would have thought he was a homeless person. Hynek had a Van Dyke beard. It was the kind of beard that professors wore to show that they were intelligent. It was the fashion of the time. He didn't have 5 days' growth of beard. I pointed out to my friend he looks more like Richard Dreyfuss than J. Allen Hynek. Then my friend added, he acts like Richard Dreyfuss in Close Encounters, like some kind of loony losing his mind, some freak overly passionate about UFOs. That's when we both realized that casting a guy who looks like Dreyfuss was a deliberate, conscious, and cynical play by the producers to subconsciously hook the audience. I'm trying to think of other things about the show that give me a stomachache, but the headache it's giving me to think about it makes me want to quit. There, that's it, that's enough. I've done my review. Now I officially have no more reason to ever watch Project Blue Book ever again. Not even for the madman's sexy lesbian makeover scenes. And this has been a Bigfoot review. We'll be back next time with something completely different.
scary story.